You're glowing.
Oh, thank you. I use aloe and river slime to maintain my...
No.
Look. Oh, this is my little sister Amba's magic. I got the glow!
Where recent Disney princess films reminded young girls they too could be heroes, Raya and the Last Dragon teaches its viewers about the perils of going at it alone. It's a smart next evolution of the action princess coming-of-age story, clear through line to princess predecessors in Frozen and Moana. Like Moana, Raya strikes out into the world on a classic hero's journey. Like Elsa, Raya is emotionally closed off at the start of the film. Unlike these other heroines, Raya doesn't lack self-confidence or understanding of her abilities. She's a skilled fighter, a quality she does not question, and it's about time. Raya and the Last Dragon, Disney's first film starring a Southeast Asian princess, establishes its own lore. The once prosperous land of Kumandra used to be brimming with dragons, creatures whose existence was tied to water and life itself. When the villainous Droon attacked, an enemy capable of turning all to stone, dragons fought to defend themselves and humans alike. The last living dragons pulled their power into the dragon gem, which revived the humans. But the dragons remained frozen in time with the exception of Sisu, the last living dragon. Raya's epic quest kicks off when the dragon gem shatters, unleashing the Droon back into the world. Raya's hero's journey is marked by moments where she is challenged to make new friends and rely on them to fight for her cause. The film's framing around themes of trust breathes new life into the Disney animated action-adventure format. The waypoints along Raya's hero's journey each challenge her to be vulnerable with others. As Raya and Sisu barrel through the regions of Kumandra, their relationship deepens. This is also true of Raya's confrontations with childhood friend turned villain Namaari. Each fight reveals something new about their rocky past and how they could possibly make amends. Scrapping romances gives Raya and the Last Dragon more space to give platonic relationships their due. Raya and the Last Dragon is also one of Disney's best films about grief. Disney's princess films have always been about grief, as practically all of the princesses have lost a family member by the start of their movies. In prior films, these deaths mostly act as backstory and character motivation. By contrast, every single significant character in Raya and the Last Dragon has experienced devastating personal loss, is motivated by grief, and has spent a lot of time alone. Their decision to trust one another, to form a chosen family, feels much more meaningful due to this weight.
I too wish to join this fellowship of Droon, but kickery.
Disney's princesses have always had enormous sway in pop culture, particularly for American children. Raya and the Last Dragon will give Southeast Asian girls not one, but two princesses. Before this, young Asian American Disney fans had Mulan, which Raya and the Last Dragon effectively plays homage to without feeling recycled. Of course, this movie is debuting to an audience with higher expectations around cultural representation than those who grew up with Mulan. At a moment where the number of Asian-centered films is steadily climbing yet still limited, and where Southeast Asian actors are underrepresented in comparison to East Asian actors, this puts particular pressure on Disney's first Southeast Asian princess. Disney did a fair amount of research which they leaned on for issues of cultural accuracy. The filmmakers visited Southeast Asian countries. The screenwriters are both Southeast Asian, as is Kelly Marie Tran, who voices Raya. But the fact that most of the other voice actors are East Asian and that Kumandra is a fantasy world drawing from a number of different countries in a larger region, the film risks blurring cultural references to the point where they become unrecognizable or incoherent to the people who expected to identify with the movie. It's a fine line to tread. The idea that any one film, even if it meets the highest standards of research and casting, could capture Southeast Asia already falls apart. There is no single identity, as Southeast Asians aren't a monolith. And like Mulan, this film mostly reads as distinctly American, with jokes about things like working on group projects at school that feel a bit out of place in a world that is supposedly fantastical.
Have you ever done like a group project, but there's like that one kid who didn't pitch in as much, but still ended up with the same grade?
We're doomed.
The five kingdoms of Kumandra are each vibrantly animated. The frightening Droon evokes the bubbling threads of Miyazaki's Princess Mononoke, and the fight scenes here are particularly thrilling. When a character takes a punch or when Raya parries with her dagger, it has a genuine weight that gives these fights greater stakes. Ultimately, the heart and action in Raya and the Last Dragon are thoroughly enjoyable, and it introduces a new Disney princess to be genuinely excited about. Raya and the Last Dragon is a beautifully animated, action-packed hero's journey and a great next evolution of Disney's modern-day princess films. Where princesses like Moana and Elsa spent their films learning to trust in their powers, Disney's first Southeast Asian princess Raya is already an excellent fighter, capable of besting even the strongest of warriors. including her nemesis and fellow princess Namaari. This gives Raya and the Last Dragon space to focus on themes of trust and the importance of finding a support system of friends and family, as well as truly tackling concepts like grief, the thematic mainstays of Disney's princess films that haven't always been adequately explored.